Jai Hind everyone, welcoming you all to this very new series called Qualities of an Orator and a Listener, which we typically know about Vakta and Shrota ka Swaroop. So, this series also consists of two lectures, and we have invited Sayam Bhaiya Shastri. He is with us, and he'll be taking these two lectures on the topic Qualities of an Orator and a Listener. First of all, I wanted to make a small announcement to all the audience, to all the shrotas over here who are listening online, live, as well as who will be listening to this lecture after a point of time when the recording is being uploaded. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel of JEEV portal to get accessibility to all the lectures which we have before as well as future updates of any further lectures. So it would be suitable for you if you will subscribe to this channel and all the accessibility points we will talk after the lecture. And now, before we start the lecture, I wanted to shortly introduce you all to Sayam Bhaiya, uh, who will be taking these lectures. So, Manglarti Sayam Bhaiya Shastri is a Jain philosophy scholar and teacher at Sri Todarmal Digambar Jain Siddhant Mahavidyalaya, Jaipur. Sri Sayyam Jain Shastri is pursuing his PhD at Mohanlal Sukhadia University, Udaipur, with qualifications including a Shastri degree in Sanskrit, English, and Jain philosophy, need clarification in Jaina, and peace studies. He combines academic rigor with practical teaching experience. He has served as principal at prominent Jain institutions, training teachers in English during Vitarag Vigyan Prasikchan Shivir and presenting research at national and international forums. His unique blend of spiritual and professional expertise enriches his teachings. So, yeah, without wasting much of your time, now I would invite Sayam Bhaiya to take over the mic and start his lecture. Bhaiya.
लचक सावधान नमो अरिहंताण नमो सिद्धाणं नमो आयरियाण नमो वज्रायाण नमो लोय सप्पसाहूणम् Ah, whatever Harshilad said is absolutely untrue. It doesn't make any sense at all. So please don't hear to him at all. But coming to our topic, let's start with the basic concept, which is called why words are necessary in the world. We all understand that for only two purposes, generally words are needed. First one is to share our knowledge on a particular subject. And second is to calm down someone, to ease out their pain, to take them out of misery. Apart from these two things, there is no need of words at all. So generally, the area where entertainment comes into business is actually easing out people's pain, their passions, their misery and troubles. And the studies that we do in our schools or whatever we study outside is like we don't know something and we are learning, like the concept of optics, the concept of conservation of mass, the concept of maybe, different philosophies, mainly like empiricism or realism or different philosophies they exist in the world. So basically, words are required for only basic these two purposes. So if this is true, then there have to be two people in the world. One, the person who's using the words to share his views, and the other person who has to listen to those views. So the person who is at a speaker's end requires basic true qualities, that he should know some concepts without which they cannot teach somebody those concepts. And second, the person should be so nice, so calm, so easy to hear, that he can take other people's misery out. So basic two qualities of orators are these. Rest all the qualities, they follow in these qualities only. And when we look at the listener's end, again, two things have to be existing. One, you don't know something. And second, you are really feeling definite misery in the world. So unless these two things exist, no one can be a Shrota. And unless these two qualities of an orator exist, nobody can be an orator, or as we say, Vakta. So let's start with the basic concept. So naturally, all the we in this session we'll cover the listeners first, and in the next session, once you have heard me as an orator, you will be sure to find out and place me in my righteous place, that how bad of an orator I am. So first, let's finish off with the listener, and then we'll talk about the orator. So without further ado, I'd like to share the JEEV's presentation with us. It's a beautiful presentation, which, just a second. It's a beautiful presentation which talks to us about the orator and the listener. So as far as listeners are concerned, listeners are talked about in various scriptures. The speakers are talked less. We generally know that they should be wonderful, they should be great. Like, in case if you would have given a NET examination, NET examination, which is for assistant professor and other qualifications, the first chapter to that is teaching aptitude, not listening aptitude. So generally, we are quite aware of what a teacher should be and how the orator is. But sometimes a listener, exact qualities of listener, they are not to be seen. So in general, we are discussing the kinds of listeners here first. Okay, so qualities of listener of scriptures. So again, as we have discussed, there are only two qualities. Rest all the qualities, they follow through. The first one is a person who is in misery, who wants to come out of his misery. Second, they are not able to understand a particular concept, and for that they need an orator or a scripture or somebody. Hence, these are two basic things. So somebody is unhappy or somebody doesn't know something. For these two different kind of things, acharyas have given us various reasons of why we are in misery. So, in case if your mother has scolded you, or your father has shouted upon you, or something wrong has happened, you have lost your loved one, or something wrong has happened. So you are unhappy, and you're unhappy because the basic question we are not able to answer, which is, who am I? How can I become truly happy? Because being happy is what every jeev, every I is living for. And why are these events happening in my life? What is the true nature of aspects? If I am not crying upon my grandmother's uh, demise, am I a bad person? Is this socially incorrect? Should this be done or not? All these questions come around the status of what is the true nature of substances. And hence go on and about these things. So uh, the first listener that Pandit Malji has discussed is a new listener. Who is a new listener is, you know, in marketing terms, we say that word of mouth is the greatest publicity anybody can achieve. Uh, by advertisement in TV or YouTube or anywhere else, things cannot be spread. But once you hear that Pradhan Mantri Modi is coming in your city, people are going to line up like anything, whether that information was given on WhatsApp, YouTube, or anywhere. We have never seen election campaigns coming out on WhatsApp or any such places. They are generally to be seen somewhere around a square or a city public place where you can see the movement. So naturally, a person comes out of curiosity. He hasn't come out of some misery or some unawareness of concepts. He has basically come out of curiosity. So the first person who comes to you is the new listener. They've come just to know that what happens, how things go, what kind of scriptures these people have, what kind of things are going around. Do they make sense or not? Are they logical enough or not? Do they have that zing of the inner peace? So there, a new listener is going to come and check all this. He's going to come around and try to realize that whatever is going on, does it make any sense or not? But there are other kind of new listeners as well, where people are really trying to manifest mild passions. They want to have noble attributes like compassion, modesty, serenity, equanimity, etc. So basically, in a nutshell, it's a moral fiber that we are looking for. So you must have heard this saying, Vidya dadati vinayam, means once you have learned an art, a vidya, a talent, it gives you vinay. It gives you, what should I say? You are indebted to it, and hence you become vinaysheel, you become downtrodden, you become great. But it is never said that vinayah dadati vidya. You must be thinking, what the hell am I talking about? But the basic bottom line is this, which is absolutely true. You can learn something from somebody not by becoming vinaysheel, but by becoming uh, what adjective should I use? Sadachari, a simple plain guy. You should know how to treat well. You should know how to talk to people. You should know how to handle different situations. That's a basic quality of life. But that has nothing to do with Vinay. Vinay will come to you in life once you have got Vidya. If you have learned Vidya, you know that there are other people who can be or who might be better than you. You will know that not only you have a Vidya, a lot of other peoples might have different other Vidyas. You are giving your 10%, 20% time to a Vidya, others are giving their 90, 95%, 100% time to their Vidya. So there you try to realize and understand the basic fact that after Vidya, there comes Vinay. Vinay cannot come before Vidya. We are generally of this mentality that if we don't have Vinay, we'll never have Vidya. Arey Baba, everybody is in need of one or the other Vidya. People either in their 9th, 10th standard choose arts or science or humanities. These are all Vidyas. Some people choose some other uh, kind of jobs, like somebody wants to go in athletics, somebody wants to go in music, somebody wants to go somewhere else. Everybody is in a need of a Vidya or the other. Maybe we are in a need of a Vidya where we want to say that everybody is wrong in one or the other way. Again, this is a vidya, a charvaki vidya, where we do not consider anything to be right at all. So a new listener is of this mentality that uh, he wants to learn new things and hence he's humble enough. Next is there are some new listeners who have just come to watch the show. If they like the show, they'll clap upon it and go to their houses and sleep away. And if they didn't like the show, they're going to shout at it, they're going to make a fuss out of it, and again, pollute the environment. So a new listener can be sometimes a very bad guy as well. Different other peoples have talked about it. I would like to share this as well. I hope my screen has changed.
I can see new listener slide.
Okay, you can see only new listeners. Must change. Now, this is a place where a lot of references you can find. It's a kind of Jain dictionary. The website is jaincoach.org. Here I actually wanted to show you some kinds of listeners. I mean, these are great kind of listeners which were mentioned in Mahapuran. Mahapuran is a scripture of Pratmanuyog. Pratmanuyog is a place where stories are the basic bottom theme line, and ultimately they want to tell us that how Vidrakta is so important to us. So there are various kinds of listeners who are not considered to be good listeners. They are generally they're considered bad listeners. Like first listener is mitti ke saman. What does it mean? That once you shower upon it, it becomes soft, komal ho jate. And after some time, when that water vapors up, they still become, after that, they become kathor, they become brittle. So it's like when they're listening to you, they are very calm and nice and great. And after that, they become very brittle or they become very harsh to realities. Others like they are like a chalni. Chalni, uh, what? Winnowing बोलते हैं नहीं. चलनी को क्या कहते हैं?
Sieve.
Winnowing is a different process. Sieving. Yeah, thank you. So कुछ सीव्स के समान होते हैं. तो वो क्या करते हैं तो जो अच्छी अच्छी चीजें होती हैं उन्हें सबको नीचे गिरा देते हैं और जो खराब खराब चीजें होती हैं वो अपने पास रख लेते हैं. फिर कोई बकरे के समान होते हैं. बकरा मतलब जिसको म्यूजिक बहुत पसंद होता है तो वो केवल म्यूजिक म्यूजिक ले लेंगे और बाकी का सारा कुछ छोड़ देंगे. श्रृंगार को पकड़ लेंगे. सीता जी कितनी सुंदर थी, सीता जी अब मेरी पत्नी को भी इतना सुंदर होना चाहिए. अरे सीता जी के समान सुंदर होने के लिए आपको ये भी पता होना चाहिए कि वो उन्होंने पृथ्वीमती माता जी से बाद में आरिका बन गई थी. अपनी पत्नी को तुम जो सुंदर बना रहे हो उसके साथ भोग करने के लिए बना रहे हो या उसे वैराग्य धारिणी बनाना चाहते हो. सो ऐसे भी श्रोता हो. फिर एक मारजार बिल्ली के समान श्रोता होता है. कैसा होता है भैया? कुछ भी कर लो, कितना ही समझा दो, कितना ही समझा लो, उसके परिणाम दे his thought process will always be very violent. Howsoever they want to attack people, terror is their basic key. So that way, a lot of negative listeners also exist. So these listeners will never understand the depth of Chinmani. This is what is the basic thing. Again, we have a wonderful granth which is called as Dhavla. It talks about three types of listeners. First one is, general listeners who really don't know anything. They are called as Avyutpanna listeners. Second is those listeners who are absolutely intelligent. They know a lot. They have learned many things. These are called Avgata Vishesh Vivakshita Padarth listeners. and others are who know a little bit. These are ek deshato avagat vivakshita padartha. So that way, Shrota, the listeners are basically talked about in three ways here. So I hope this small thing is kind of clear to everybody that different kind of listeners are there in the world. All of them are not considered good. So basically, if you think you are listening to a teacher and orator, it is not necessarily true that you are listening. Like a daughter who's about to get married is listens to her mother like her mother is preaching her, giving him the real crux of life, how to live in that house, how to understand things. But when she was young, she never used to care for the mother. She used to run like anything. She never heard what, but then the mother was always patient. So that way, listeners, they vary in many capacities. But again, without the right vakta, they might slip away. Their basic understanding can shift. So other listeners are those listeners who are regular in nature, who who are constantly understanding, who are constantly in touch of the orator, constantly in the touch of the vakta, and they're trying to understand the concepts behind everything. They're uh, they have a very genuine desire to learn, to eagerly understand things. Scriptures to them are like, you know, the true essence to life. Scriptures, whatever is written in scriptures, they are very much comprehensive to it. They want to know what it is, how it is going on. So that way, they are really, really deeply involved in scriptures and its understanding. And then the top notch regular listeners are those who try to adopt a non-violent way of life. Unless that place, we haven't reached to that place, we can never truly understand the depth of Chinmani. It's like you have read an experiment and now you are given apparatus to perform the experiment. No, you need practice. Practicing what is written in Jinmani is deeply required, not only doing things which are easy for you to do, rather understanding what are really required. Like in Jinmani, it is written that we should not eat uh, gehu, the flour, for more than 7 days in summers. So this is very easy to accomplish. You might not require, even a thoughtful understanding of this. Kaha hai, karo. Understand this that without Jeev and Ajeev ka bhed vigyan, without distinguishing between Jeev and Ajeev, you will never understand Samyak Darshan. And without Samyak Darshan, there is no Samyak Gyan and there is no Samyak Charitra. Tatradav Samyakvam Samupashrayaniya Makhila Yatnena. Without efforts, you can never understand what the concept of Samyak Darshan is. And without Samyak Darshan, all Charitra is Mithya Charitra. Whatever knowledge you have acquired of the best quality in the world, again, that is all Mithya Gyan. Why? Because you have never understood the basic understanding. Who am I? And what is my purpose? So that way, a listener, when he tries to understand things at a deeper level, they try to understand this at this level that having a non-violent way of life starts from within and not from others. Because charity begins at home. So why not non-violence? So everything starts from there and then it leads to different places and different understandings. Then, how should a, a listener be? So there are a few other capabilities required for that listener that with time they should keep on learning and understanding scriptures. If I'm reading Tattvarth Sutra for the 10th time and I'm not able to find out that Samyak Darshan Gyan Charitrani, this is Bahuvachan, Moksha Margaha, this is Ekvachan, then definitely I'm not understanding it, I'm mugging it up. Mugging Jinmani is like, mugging school books, which everybody reads, but nobody gets an equal pay in their jobs. We all study the same subjects, we all study everything, but then no one gets the same jobs. Likewise, no one gets equal marks, no one gets equal job. Why? Because everyone understands in a different level. Not just mugging up is going to help. Many toppers, they don't get a good job, but many mediocre students who are eager to learn in order to earn, they get wonderful jobs. So this basic concept is explaining us that the listener gradually with time will understand a little grammar. They'll understand a little logic. If I haven't gotten the understanding of JEEV and AJEEV, how will I get an understanding that a JEEV comes into a flower in 3 to 4 days, 6 to 7 days? How achar gets expired in the next day, whereas we cannot see any JEEV there. We have never seen a JEEV roaming around in liquor, and yet we say liquor is very harmful. Why? Because there is a logic behind it. There is not only parhinsa, there is swahinsa as well. परहिंसा के विचार में अपना समय बिताने पर यदि स्वहिंसा नहीं दिखाई दे रही है तो इसी का नाम स्वहिंसा है. Because we are constantly in an understanding of what is happening with others. So again, a little logic comes, a little medicine comes. So with the understanding of things around you, you gradually try to understand that what is troubling you. Why are you able to understand things today and why not tomorrow? Maybe you have eaten something wrong. Maybe you have had a bad community. Maybe you, for that day, you had met a few people who really changed your understanding. Something must have gone wrong. And hence medicine comes into picture. Medicine is nothing more than food, but in a concentrated form. So why do we need medicine? We only need food. And if we eat food properly in the form of a medicine, you will never need medicine. So ultimately, he understands medicines as well. And other complementary fields he tries to understand. Then there are two, the true student is the one who understands the greatness of Samyak Darshan, which is called as self-realization. They gradually understand the differentiation, Bhed Vigyan, the science of differentiation. There are some great scholars, listener scholars, who gradually come to a stage where they possess this great knowledge called as Avadhigyan, Manahapariyagyan. Such capabilities can also be found in them. So the greatest orator in the world is Tirthankar, and the greatest listener in the world is their preceptors, which are called Gandhar. And Gandhar, they have 4 basic knowledge bases: Matigyan, Shrutgyan, Avdhigyan, Manahapariyagyan. So that way, this is again an important aspect for us to understand that listeners and orators, they are widely categorized in Jinmani. Some listeners are trolled, some listeners are praised, but it all depends. The basic bottom line is Samyak Darshan. The basic bottom line is to know what is Shraddha, to know how belief works. Unless you have the right belief in the world, you will never understand things. So, देव का श्रद्धान करना आसान है, शास्त्र का श्रद्धान करना आसान है, गुरु का श्रद्धान करना आसान है, just because they are very accessible to us. देव का श्रद्धान just go to the temple, you believe in him. Yes, he's great. Something will happen. Maybe you know this for a fact that Jain Bhagwan doesn't do anything because they are Vitragi. Yet we have a general belief that we are doing something right. And if you're doing something right, good things will happen to you. My dear, this doesn't happen. So, बिना उपसर्ग के किसी साधु ने आज तक मुक्ति प्राप्त नहीं की. Why are you in this um, a bubble thought that things will go good with you? Things never go good with the body. Things only go good with the soul. If you are inside the soul, if you are completely engrossed in it, things will never go bad. So that way, this understanding is very deep. So likewise, there are many other scriptures who discuss about, Shrota, like Kasai Pahud. It talks about Drishti Vadang, which is uh, the 12th part of Dwadashang. Other scriptures also talk about what a right Shrota is, like Purusharth Siddhyopai talks about दुखदायक दुस्तर और पापों के स्थान इन 8 पदार्थों का परित्याग कर निर्मल बुद्धि जो धारण करता है उसे उपदेश का पात्र कहते हैं. So a person who has left away 5 sins and doesn't eat liquor, honey, and mans, madhu, and meat and similar category things. This is the basic thing where we understand for our survival, we really don't need to kill anyone else. We are a JEEV. JEEV is an never-ending, eternal substance in the world. You don't need to survive in order to kill anybody in the world for any purpose. But our rag keeps on engaging us in all these activities. And we think that without food, we are going to die. Without people, we cannot survive. Without love, there is nothing in the world. Love is not the essence of life. Existence is, which is with you and has been. So don't worry about it and try to become a good listener. Next, I hope you would have understood this as a concept. And in the next session, we'll talk about what is the rightful orator. This session was a basic bottom line in order to understand what different variety of speakers, listeners are there. And I'm very sure once you hear the types of speakers, your orators, you'll get to know that not all orators are good, like not all listeners were good. So I hope you enjoyed this session. We'll discuss more about this. Over to you, Harshil.
Thank you so much, Sayam Bhaiya. So, in today's lecture, we have completed half of the topic. So, Sayam Bhaiya, any reason behind taking the listeners part first, and you want to take the auditors part in the lecture?
As I'd already mentioned, that I want all of you to test me well in order to check, in order to understand the orators. So if you have, heard me well, definitely you will analyze the orator part well. And I don't consider myself to be a very good guy. I became a teacher only by chance and not basically by choice. So it's a matter of my
Oh,
existence in order to understand this.
perfect. Thank you so much. So, the lecture was full with the different references because when we talk about Vakta and Shrota ka Swarup, we usually have that paragraph or the pages which we have in the Moksha Prakashak. But Bhaiya took this presentation out and filled references of different grants. So very happy for those references. It is helpful. Now, I wanted to request people from audience if they have any questions in and around the topic. please, this mic is open for them. Any questions? Okay. So Sayam Bhaiya, I want you to throw some light on why this topic is important, why Todarmal Pandit ji took this in front, and why we are discussing this topic. How is this relevant in Prayojan Booth for us?
Thank you, Ashil.
Yes.
Okay, we'll take the question from TJ later.
Yes. Yes. We'll take this question
We
after.
all know that, yeah. We all know that Samyak Darshan is defined as Dev Shastra Guru ke Shraddhaan ko Samyak Darshan kehte hain. So everyone in the Jain community, they know that देव का श्रद्धान पूजा करने से होता है, गुरु का श्रद्धान उनकी सेवा शुश्रूषा आहार कराना उससे होता है, शास्त्र का श्रद्धान होता है ग्रंथ को खोलकर पढ़ने से. So whosoever wants to become the right Jain knows this, that शास्त्र का श्रद्धान तो पढ़ने से ही होता है. So there came the existence of scriptures. And with scriptures, there existed two kinds of people. One, who are reading the scriptures. Two, who are preaching the scriptures. So those who were talking about it became the orators. Those who were listening about it, they became the receivers, the listeners. And hence, a psychology evolved. The psychology of a person who's listening to it, and a psychology of a person who's speaking about it. Without that, I don't see a point. Why would somebody be most interested in this? Second is, as we had started, there are only two things why words existed in the world. One is to understand a concept, and second one is to come out of their misery. So again, these two things can be achieved only through orators and listeners, and hence this topic, I think, existed.
Okay, thank you so much. I guess we have a question from the username called TJ. Can you please light upon your question?
Jai Jinan, sir. I just wanted to know, you mentioned something about Vinay and Vidya. One comes before the other. So could you please elaborate on that? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Uh, so once we start reading things or once we start teaching things, the one thing which we expect from both the parties is Samyak Darshan. And Samyak Darshan is basically a talent. Like driving is a talent, where when we start to learn driving, what happens is we tend to make mistakes. But after a point, we and the car, they both become one. The car is, giving me pushes. The car is giving me some hints that it wants to go from second gear to the third gear, or third gear to the fourth gear, and I'm not taking the hints. Hence, the car is getting broken down. Something wrong is happening. Something is the issue there. Similarly, so likewise, driving a car is a talent, swimming is a talent, everything else is a talent. So similarly, Samyak Darshan is also one of those vidya which can make you 100% happy. At least take you to the path where you can become 100% happy. The path which starts from you and ends at you. So again, this is a talent. So I was stating this, that in general, other philosophies other than Jain philosophies, they have a mentality that unless I give Vidya, unless I give Vinay, the teacher will not give me Vidya. Rather, there is a very opposite understanding to this. It's not so that first I have to give me Vinay and then Vidya will come to me. It's general common sense. It's common sense. I should use manners. You should have good manners to talk to people, but then you cannot become Vinaysheel. You cannot be, what should I say, indebted to somebody unless you have gotten something from somebody. तो आज सच्चे देव को नमस्कार करना इतना कॉमन हो गया है, बट हम उनको गुरु नहीं मानते. We don't consider them as our saints or our the paths to liberation we want to follow, they are gurus for that. So hence the basic idea is when I will come in the world, don't try to demand that without giving Vidya. So unless a teacher, unless an orator has given Vidya, he cannot demand for Vinay. So it's not vice versa, that first Vinay will come and then Vidya. Rather, it's if you have complete faith in your Vidya, people are going to enjoy that Vidya and become Vinayshil, become indebted to you. So you don't need to worry at all for Vinay in this world. This is what I meant through that. I really appreciate your observation, ma'am.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. I got it.
All right.
Thank you so much for a question. I hope we don't have further questions. If yes, we can proceed further. Okay. So let's come to a conclusion since we have covered only half of the topic, since it is a two lecture series. And I think Bhaiya has mentioned a very beautiful point. The Utkrasht, the supreme Vakta and Shota, uh, orator and listener are Tirthankar Dev as well as Gardhar respectively. So I think the Prayojan Bhut should be Ratnatre, and further points we'll get it cleared in the coming lecture, so we can proceed with those questions again. And before we proceed to Jinwani Stuti, I wanted to show, I hope my screen is visible. So these are the accessible points. So to access to this lecture and any other lecture, you can log into the JEEV portal. In the JEEV portal resources, you can go to any of the topic, maybe Vakta and Shrota ka Swaroop, temple visit, God and Tirthankar. Once you'll click on the topic, you'll receive a link to access to the YouTube link, YouTube lecture, and then you can view your courses on your dashboard, select your courses which you wanted to listen. Also in the resources section, you'll get 3 4 resources. One of them would be the presentation which Bhaiya presented. Number 2 would be Gurudev Shri snippets. That's the most important part which the JEEV team has been working upon. Let's say we are listening to this lecture called Temple Visit, Dev Darshan. So whatever the lectures, in whichever lecture Gurudev spoke about any of Dev Darshan activity, what is correct, what is not, we have kept that snippet with an English subtitled video, because this is an English portal. So we have kept those things in mind. So in this way, you can access to all these resources, and you can visit our website jeev.net.in. If any queries, you can email us support@jeev.net.in. All the social media handles have been showcased here, and you can subscribe to YouTube channel for any other lectures. Let's say this is the live lecture, this the video will get uploaded a day later. And if any queries, you can also mention it in the comment. We will reach out to you. So yeah, now Jinwani Stuti. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, इसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना शत बार है. 9 times नमोकार मंत्र.